Hey everybody, this is 22 Tiger Dude, and it's here! Star Wars Episode VII news. It's all finally brought to us. We finally get a Star Wars cast announced. We've got, of course, the original cast, but we have new cast members coming. Here's a whole lot of names, and I gotta give every one of them a shout out. So, the cast in Star Wars Episode VII is Andy Serkis, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Domhnall Gleeson, Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac, Max von Sydow, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, John Boyega, and Daisy Ridley. The film is set to release in theaters on December 2015. I'm actually really glad to see Domhnall Gleeson in here because I really enjoy him in the Harry Potter movies, even though his role is really small, and I absolutely loved him in About Time. He was amazing in that role. One of the most underrated films. If you haven't seen About Time, by the way, please go out of your way and just watch that film because it's so good. And I hope Star Wars Episode VII really is where more people notice him. I would hope by now more people know him by Harry Potter, but hopefully this is the movie that will make him much more bigger than he originally was. I'm glad to see Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, and Kenny Baker back to the Star Wars universe. That's going to be really good. We've got unknowns here. So it's good to always have unknowns because you want to make them popular. So I am very satisfied with this casting news. Star Wars Episode VII, bring it on. I'm ready for the film. Definitely one of my most anticipated films of 2015. Next up is actually comic book news, and that's not something I would normally do. Joe Cabimella, I'm going to give him a shout out because he wanted me to talk about this, and he's the one that let me know on my Facebook page about this news. Thank you, Joe, for letting me know. Joe Cabimella does have a channel. He does movie reviews. He's a very nice guy. I'm going to leave a link to Joe's channel in the description below. There's news for you comic book readers out there that Marvel is going to kill off Wolverine in the comics. And it's going to be called Death of Wolverine. Now, here's the reason why I don't like this news. Like, yes, I don't read the comic books, but I am a huge fan of the character Wolverine. Wolverine is one of my favorite superheroes. I love the character. I don't even need to read the comics to know how badass he is. His character, he's supposed to be undiable. Like, he's basically supposed to live forever. You know, Wolverine never dies because he's that badass. And what makes me so iffy about this is Death of Wolverine, where the character obviously dies because he apparently never dies. And this one just broke what Wolverine actually is. But it is sad that Marvel wants to kill him off. They say the comic is supposed to come out on September 2014. It's the first issue, actually. It's gonna be into 4-part series that Marvel is coming up with. I do plan sometime in the future to read at least a few Wolverine comics, but Death of Wolverine, I'm pretty sure is a comic I don't want to bother reading just because I love the character Wolverine too much. He's just such a badass. So it's disappointing to hear that even though I don't read comic books, I am being straight up honest with all you there. I don't want to lie. I don't read the comics, but still, it is disappointing to me that they would do this to Wolverine, especially since his character is supposed to never die. And lastly, just very quick, you guys, as you all probably know by now, Peter Jackson has decided to change the title of the Hobbit movie. Instead of it being called The Hobbit There and Back Again, it's now changed the title to The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Now, I'm going to be honest, I actually like the new title better. I know this is the movie that's going to have more battles than the previous 2 Hobbit films. It's just going to be an epic time. I know it's going to be so epic. I loved both of the Hobbit movies. I love the Lord of the Rings films. So when I hear about the title and even read on why Peter Jackson changed it, makes a lot of sense. I think it personally suits the third film. The other title they were thinking about changing it into is The Hobbit Into the Fire. Personally, it does sound like a cool title, but it's just not a very creative title, and it does sound very generic. You know, it's like, come on, you could come up with a better title than Into the Fire, and I'm glad they didn't go with that. I'm glad they went with The Battle of the Five Armies. Some people are happy with that. Some people prefer the original title, There and Back Again. In the comments below, tell me, what do you think of the Star Wars cast being announced? What do you think of the new cast coming in? What do you think about the original cast coming back? How do you feel about Marvel killing off Wolverine? Are you going to read the comic Death of Wolverine? Or are you just going to skip reading the comic? And tell me down below, which Hobbit title do you prefer? The Hobbit There and Back Again, The Hobbit Into the Fire, or The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies? Are you happy with the title change or not? Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like and share, follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I am 22 Tiger Dude, and don't forget that I will always have Tiger Power!